What's going on, everyone? It is your friendly neighborhood Romit back again. And yeah, back again. It's been over a year, but I blame that on the fact that I'm now a working man, a functioning member of society. And I was just bored, so I thought let's make a video today. So I am going to be showing off my Ozzy years of Black Sabbath collection, which in the last year I have completed fully now, to some degree. I'll show you what I mean in a bit. Just because the cooler albums are towards the start of Sabbath's years, obviously the vertical swirls, I'm going to do it in reverse order. And because people hate me babbling on for 5 minutes at start of videos, we're going to get straight into it with this here. This is a copy of We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. This is on the NEMS label. It's a compilation. Get out, there it is. There's the back. And nothing too exciting about this. It is a pressing, a first pressing, I guess, on the NEMS label there, as you can see. And yeah, this was very much just a, well, not very much, it is just a compilation album of stuff that kind of goes up to Sabotage. This came out in 1976, I believe. And yeah, it's really a you have to have it kind of thing if you are to own one Sabbath album in your collection. It's probably best, and I say this with all musicians, to have like a greatest hits compilation album. That is probably the best one they ever did. So now we immediately get on to the studio albums. We're going to start off, like I said, in reverse order. So this is Never Say Die. Yeah, it's probably like the weakest Ozzy album. As you'll see, the later albums with Ozzy is when clearly Tony Iommi was starting to struggle with like writer's block, but on guitar and stuff like that. And the songs aren't as fleshed out. You know, you've got like Bill Ward doing songs on these albums, but this is a original on the Spaceship label, vertical there, in beautiful condition. There's side 2 there. Favourite songs on this, Shockwave. Junior's Eyes is actually a really good song overall. And Swinging the Chain is alright as well. But it's not an album that I listen to consistently all the time. But it's one to have in the collection, obviously, if you're collecting the Ozzy albums. Next up, And I Know 13 is an Ozzy album as well. I don't own that. I want to get like an original 2013 one of it, but they're quite expensive for some reason. Technical Ecstasy now, which is actually a very, very underrated album. There's some great songs on this here. Even Bill Ward is hitting it out the park with a very Beatles song on here called It's Alright. But this is on the Spaceship as well, you can see. And its original comes with this like insert that has all the lyrics on side 1 and side 2. And yeah, other songs on here, Backstreet, what's it called, Backstreet Boys? Well, no, not Backstreet Kids. Backstreet Boys is a bloody band. But yeah, Gypsy's great as well. Great album. Okay, this one isn't an original, unfortunately. This is the only Ozzy album I don't have an original for, and it is Sabotage. Show you the label real quick. It's a 1980 NEMS reissue. However, this was the one and only Sabbath album that was released originally on NEMS, but the original pressings will say NEMS, and then at the bottom here it would say records and tapes. And also you can probably tell this is 1980 on it. This came out in 75. And yeah, this is when we start to get really, 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 really good. You know, the Sabbath are one of those bands where their best albums are their early ones, in a sense. But what do we have on here? Hole in the Sky, Don't Start, It's Too Late, Symptom of the Universe, classic, everyone knows that song. The Writ, brilliant. Super Gays, Super... oh God, sorry guys. Bloody... Superstar, brilliant. Am I Going Insane? Great as well. Yeah. Great album. Now we get on to the album that some people call their favourites. It's very close to being my favourite. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I won't spend too long on this one because this again is a 1980 NEMS pressing. The label is the same. But I will show you this one, which is a original Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath on the... And I'll quickly get it out here. Here is the original inner sleeve with the lyrics. Very nice. And that is the WWA label. I know this copy doesn't look the best, but actually it plays fine all the way through. But yeah, this is the first pressing. Such a strange label, WWA. I can't really think of any other artist they had on this label apart from Sabbath for that, what, like one album that they were on it for. But we get to a point now where there's not really a bad song on these Sabbath albums. I think Fluff, kind of like the instrumental stuff that Tony Iommi did, although being very good in their own rights, are probably kind of filler on the albums. But I mean, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, National Acrobat, Sabracadabra. You got Killing Yourself to Live, obviously absolutely sensational. Looking for Today. Spiral Architect as well. Just beautiful albums. Beautiful songs on beautiful albums. Right, and if you know Sabbath, we're now on to Swirls. Sabbath 4, only copy I have of it, on Z Vertigo Swirl. But this one is different because it is in fact a... Well, I'll show you the swirl first. There it is. It is in fact a German pressing, which I need to sort back into its sleeve properly. Yeah, these are actually not as rare, so, and they sound just as good, really. So if you want to get original Verticos, definitely have a look at the German ones, the Italian ones as well. They sound as good, and they're on the swirl. The labels are just slightly different, and they press like well, I don't know if they press more of them. They're just not as expensive. So I wouldn't really class rarity in that sense, but maybe they are in a sense a bit cheaper because they pressed these German ones across more than just Germany. Probably a couple of different countries, actually, those came out in. But yeah, Sabbath Volume 4. I mean, there's not much I can say for the Sabbath albums from this point onwards. If you're watching this video, you probably already like Black Sabbath, and you'll know the songs on here. Changes, you know, Tomorrow's Dream, Wheels of Confusion, Supernaut, Under the Sun, Snowblind, classics. But now we get on to my favourite Black Sabbath album, and one I've already done a video on, and that is Master of Reality on the Swirl. Yeah, not the best copy this is, but this is probably the most expensive original Sabbath album to get. Comes in this kind of like interesting box sleeve. As you can see, you're supposed to like open this flap up and the record comes out of there. Yeah, this is the greatest Black Sabbath album. I'm just going to say that now. Yeah, this is probably one of the greatest albums ever made. It's so ahead of its time. Tony Iommi's tone on this is just menacing. Like, genuinely, it's hard to describe. I don't think an album's ever been made like this ever again, really. Sweet Leaf, After Forever, Embryo, Children of the Grave, Lord of this World. The second side of this album is an absolute fucking masterpiece, and it ends off with one of the greatest metal songs, no, one of the greatest songs of all time, Into the Void, a song that I actually do with my band at the moment, is a cover. Yeah, that song is on another level. It really is, and it's just sensational, this album. I could sit here and talk about this album in depth for like 2 years, but I'm not going to do that. There is the swirl. This usually came with like a black vertical in his sleeve. Fortunately, it doesn't come with this one. This is probably the reason why I got it very cheap. I paid about 20 quid for that, which is an absolute bargain if you ask me. So like I said, it's not the best copy, but it doesn't skip or anything. And now, here's probably the most recognisable Sabbath album. It's Paranoid, and it is a original on as a swirl with the original inner sleeve and everything. I'll get it out to show you the swirl. Again, side one of this album, I understand has all the best songs on it, but side two is just masterful. It really is. You know, Electric Funeral, Fairies Wear Boots, even the classy Bill Ward drum solo on Rat Salad is sensational. And yeah, I mean, Hand of Doom as well on side 2 is brilliant. Planet Caravan is probably the best non-straight metal song Sabbath ever did. And it's really, I think Ozzy's voice on that song, it doesn't sound like Ozzy, but it is, if you get what I mean. But yeah, Warpig's Paranoid, Iron Man. I mean, probably 3 of the most recognisable Sabbath songs ever. So yeah, that is their second album, Paranoid, on the original vertical swirl, as shown. And now we get on to their debut album. Got 2 copies of this, both pretty rare and expensive. Here's the first one on vertical. This is like near mint, like excellent. But this one's on the spaceships. This came out in around 1973. These spaceship ones, and they weren't around for long. They're not as expensive as like first vertical swirl copies, but they're still very hard to come by and quite rare, especially in this condition. I mean, if I show you the spine, it's hard to see, but it's like perfect, that spine. But yeah, that's a cool pressing. And then this is an even cooler pressing. It's my most recent pickup, and if anyone knows me, they'll know this was the last one I need. It is a swirl. There we go, complete. These are 4 original up to Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I have originals of now. There it is. This is not a first swirl, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I get it out here. The first swirls would have had this vertical line under Black Sabbath here, and the swirl would be huge. This is about a 1971 pressing actually, but it plays all the way through, very nice. Again, I got it for cheap because it's missing an original vertical inner sleeve. But, I mean, come on, man. Like, when I just want to collect the swirls, I'm not that arsed about them being, like, mint and complete. Because any swirl of any album, let alone Sabbath mint, is going to set you back, you know, into more than 3 digits for sure. So, yeah, that is my Sabbath collection. For 2026, I'll call it the Ozzy years. I don't really collect anything other than the Ozzy years. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.